welcome back to another video. StarField. I don't give review scores. I play a game long enough to know if I like the mechanics and to try and find things that repeat that I don't like and some things that repeat that I do like. So let's get into the one thing that I think is an issue when it comes to the experience of StarField. Now, you think about StarField, you think about space, you think about exploration, and you don't think about limiting factors or immersion breaking. So here I am going somewhere. I'm landed on a planet. I'm getting in the ship, in the cockpit, getting ready to take off and fly into space. And I'm given the choice of get out or launch. So let's launch. You would think it would be cool to pilot your ship, fly up into the atmosphere, then into space, but you're treated to a cutscene and then a loading screen. Okay, we're waiting, we're going up into space, and you would think we're flying away from the planet that we're on, but instead, after the cutscene and the loading screen, we're facing the planet that we just took off from for some reason. So that's the planet we took off from, and you want to fly towards your destination or fly around the planet, and you simply cannot, because the only thing that actually exists here is the planet that you're looking at and then the destination that you're going to. The space actually in between doesn't exist. So let's turn off to the right here, find the destination. There it is, marked way, way, way far away. And you think, well, I want to fly there. I want to be able to go where no person has gone before. And no matter how fast you fly towards your objective, you don't get closer to it. In fact, you don't even get further away from the planet that you just took off from. You're simply stuck in this zone waiting to then select from the main menu your destination, and then you're treated to another cutscene and another loading screen. So we go back into the menu here, select the star map, pull back out. Maybe they wanted you to do this every time to show you all of the planets that you can explore. I understand that, but I want to actually explore, and this limiting factor, this big immersion breaker, happens every single time that you go anywhere in StarField. So we select our destination, and then we have to hit go or launch, and we're treated to a countdown until we go to warp speed, and we're treated to a cutscene and a loading screen. Now, this is the biggest issue I had with StarField. Every single time you go to do something, every single time you want to explore, it's sort of sliced up into individual pieces, and you're not exactly flying anywhere or actually exploring. You're simply just setting a destination. The ship and the game are doing everything for you. Now, that is the biggest critique that I have, and it's one that breaks the immersion every single time. And there are times that I'm into the game and I feel like, man, I really wish I could actually fly this ship places and actually land and take off. And when you're on the planet, it's a big issue as well, because you really can't really go anywhere other than where you landed. You pick the destination where you land, like I'm doing here, and there are other destinations on the planet that you can land on to choose. However, the one you choose and you land at, if you want to walk to another destination on the same planet, you can't. You have to take off, then go into the menu, then select the other destination, and then land all over again. It's an immersion breaking experience. That is my biggest critique, but I'm going to get to some things that I think are extremely, extremely positive when it comes to the game. I just wanted to get that one big one out of the way. I feel like the real star of StarField are the actual environments that you're visiting. Here I am landing on Mars, and of course, it has lower gravity than you're used to on Earth or any other planet for that matter, and it leads to some really cool gameplay elements. So, super jumping and getting into combat. When you use certain weapons, if you're in low G or zero G, you can actually use them as like a propellant to force you through the air, which is really cool. And there are some weapons that don't have that effect on you. You have to mix and match depending on the environment. And I do feel like graphically these environments are extremely detailed. I feel like this is Bethesda's best work ever. I still feel Skyrim, especially the special edition, has that edge in terms of just the immersion factor, because like I said before, that immersion breaking element that continues to happen throughout StarField kind of forces you to find other things wrong, and they sort of stand out because you're so used to that immersion breaking happening. But like I said here, walking into these environments, the lighting, just the detail in general, it's really, really breathtaking. I feel like the game's gotten a little bit of an unfair treatment when it comes to like the graphics. I know that some of the NPCs that aren't relevant to the gameplay, they're just filler in worlds to make you feel like there's a lot of people there. They are really, really funny and laughable, some of them. But there are some main characters that you talk to, again, that I feel like are just as detailed as these worlds. Now, of course, the cutscenes, the immersion breaking still happens, but I feel like maybe that's a bit too much of a critique when it comes to like going into a building or out of a building. I just feel like that big one when it comes to exploration, taking off from a planet and then flying to your destination, that one is the one that really sticks out to me. But here I am in this environment, and I feel like it is every bit as detailed as past Bethesda games, and there's so much to do in them, and that's what is really great about this game. This is an environment early on, and I felt like, yeah, it's a great indication of what's really great when it comes to the game, putting you into an environment, making you feel immersed, and then sometimes what's really bad about the game and that immersion breaking, those things that you look for, because I don't know about you, but when I had that moment where you couldn't take off and you couldn't fly and you were cutscening, and cutscening isn't even a word, and then load screening, but I like it, I'm going to use it, and I found myself looking for things because of that one big immersion breaking element. Now, this world is really detailed. I love exploring here. There's tons to do, and there are a lot of handcrafted areas that you go to throughout this game. I'm not close to being done. I've just got to this sort of Wild West town, which is incredibly detailed. There's tons of people to talk to, tons of quests to do. That's another great thing about the game. The side quests are incredibly engaging and involving. They're not just these cookie cutter cutscenes. I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy 16. They're actually engaging, and you learn about yourself, you learn about other characters. Now, when it comes to the character models, I felt like some of them were absolutely incredible, and then some, of course, like those filler town folk that walk around and just stare at you with those blank eyes, those are really, really funny. But I slowed this down because I want you to pay attention to the lip syncing and just the overall expression. I felt like it was almost eerie the way that she pronounces every word perfectly, and if you look on her neck, there are two veins that sort of bulge out as she sort of emotes and expresses herself while she's talking. Things like that are great, but there are things that are so weird. Here I am walking around in third person, and there's my shadow. You see my shadow? Me and my shadow. But when I go into first person, it disappears. I have no shadow in first person. You might say, Worry, why are you picking that out? Why are you picking? You're nitpicking now, Worry. Well, that big immersion breaking element in the game that repeats that not being able to fly your ship, go anywhere, that forced me into this mode where I'm finding things. Here, foliage is like moving in the wind, but then bigger foliage just sort of hangs there a bit, doesn't move at all, or just so slightly you can't even notice it. I don't know, might be a bit nitpicky, but I felt like because of that element with the ship, I was like forced into this. Oh, here I go again with a cutscene. Oh, here I go again with a loading screen. And I was picking things out, like for instance, going into an environment here, open the door, and it's about an 8-second cutscene. Well, not this one. This one was quick, but there are 8 to 9 second cutscenes sometimes going from environments. But once you're in these environments, I feel like they're detailed. Yes, I'm being nitpicky, but you know, I feel like it's sort of a double-edged sword when it comes to StarField. There's so much that's really, really good and engaging, and I want to continue. The key to this game is not flying to your direct objective, but flying to like the 2 or 3 that are on the planet and exploring and finding your way. Here's another quirk here. I have a jetpack equipped. You don't see it, but when I use it, it appears. When I'm done using it and walking around in third person, it's just going to disappear. Again, one of those things that just sticks out to me as immersion breaking, and I'm like, what the hell happened to the jetpack? How did it disappear? Where is she hiding it? I want to know. But overall, I feel like these few things that detract from the immersion don't pull the game down when it comes to just the fun factor. But I had to talk about them because StarField is about immersion. Take a look at these environments, though. I was talking earlier about the environments being the real star. I absolutely love the different environments. The art style is incredible. It feels like a lived-in world, slowing it down here to let you see all of the little details. I absolutely, positively feel like This is a game, a tale of two swords, if you will. It's got these really weird things that happen, and some of the design choices that are just odd, like not being able to fly a ship in space, not being able to land or take off, but then it has these environments that are so cool. And you talk about those pedestrians that are there just to make the game world seem like it's filled, not being detailed. Here comes one now. Take a look at this expression. Ho 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 ho. She looks angry. But again, you know, I'm going to focus in on those NPCs and, you know, pick out a few that look really goofy. But then there are other ones that look really great and have a lot of detail. Now, this one is a little bit less than the one I showed earlier, but still more detailed and more expressive than the town folk walking around that you really don't interact with. If I had to sum up my feelings with StarField, it's like buying a pizza and you can't open the box, you can't reach in and take out an individual slice of pizza, you can't pick off the toppings and eat them or put them on other pieces of pizza, or take a slice out, turn it upside down, put it in the box, close it, because the box and the pizza exist, but they're separate from one another, even though they should be combined for the total experience. You can't fly anywhere, you can't land anywhere, you have to plot a course, you're treated to a cutscene and a load screen. There are cutscenes and load screens everywhere that take you out of that immersion factor, and that is the key element when it comes to something like a space exploration game. And once that immersion gets broken over and over and over again, you start to, like I did here, find or just look for other things that take you out of that experience. And that's not something that should happen in a game that's built around exploration. I think early on, the mechanic that was put into this game, somebody should have said, wait a second, we're talking about exploring a universe here. We should at least be able to pilot a ship and land and take off. That would be really cool. So I tried to present the negatives that I found in the game, and I also tried to present the positives, because I feel like every single game could have those critiques levied at them. Nothing is perfect, and of course there are some strange decisions here when it comes to breaking immersion, and I wanted to talk about those because they're important and they do detract from the overall experience. But there are other experiences that you'll find in this game that are absolutely thrilling, absolutely breathtaking. Some of the locations, some of the gameplay elements, a lot of the characters that you talk to and the way that they express to one another. It's just a really great game. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Have you played the game? Are you excited? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.